tasyagraja muri purim maturim goshvatim radha kundamagirivaram ahoradika madhuvasam prabhu yasya prathita kripaya Sri Guru Tam Natosmi Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Skadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namah Anandalilamaya Vigrahaya Himabhadvyatstavi Sundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rasapradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshe Jilpastakamanikaraam kamadi Vipamaitvam Shanam Prapanna Vrinde Namaste Charanarvindam Vrinde Namaste Charanarvindam Govinda Ramo Dharmadaveti Govinda Ramo Dharmadaveti Govinda Ramo Dharmadaveti Govinda Ramo Dharmadaveti. Everyone. Hey Krishna, Hey Yadava, Hey Saketi, Govinda Ramo Dharmadaveti. Sham Sundar Shikanda Smaraha Sumurali Manoira Radhika Rasaka Mama Kripa Nidhe Supriya Charna Kim Karim Kuru Tvayvasmi Tvayvasmi Najvami Tvayabhina Jivikyaya Devi Tam Namah Charantikam. First of all, I offer my Sastang Dandavat Puspanjali, my heart like flowers thousands of times at the lotus feet of my holy master, my supremely worshipable spiritual Gurudev, Asmati Paramarajatama Guru Pada Padma, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pada, Ashtotara Satasri Rupanugacharya Varya, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. Secondly, I offer my Sastang Dandavat Pranam thousands of times at the lotus feet of my Param Gurudev, to Srila Prabhupada, and to all of our Sri Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Parampara. And finally, I offer my pranam to all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, Panchakalpurvas, Pasandubhya, Puditana Bhavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo. By the courses Master Sri Gurant Karanga. Now, for the third day, we are hearing the Gaura Lila Amrita, the nectar of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. There is a very big difference between karma, the activities of living beings in this world, and the Lila, the divine play of the Supreme Lord. First of all, karma, each activity is temporary. It is anitya. But Lila is nitya, eternal. That means that this Lila Amrita the nectar of Gaura Lila is Amrita, without any death. It is eternal. In other words, each and every pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it's not a history that took place at some point in time, which is now over. But each and every moment of his sweet, beautiful pastimes, Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikriti, which are the transformation of the love of Radha and Krishna. Each and every moment is an eternal reality. And if a person is very fortunate, if a person has deep faith, then even today they can see that Leela is going on. Jadyapiya say Leela Karigor, right? Kon kon bhagavani deki bari pai. Those who are fortunate will see it even today by hearing. And yatha yatha gaura padara vindei vindeta bhaktin krita punya rasi tatata sarpati ridya kasmat radha padam boja sudambu rasi. The degree to which a person surrenders to Gauranga Mahaprabhu, the degree to which a person develops their faith and devotion to Vishwambar Mishra, Nimai, Sachinandan, Gohari, then to that same degree they will experience the waves in the ocean of Prem and loving service to the lotus feet of Srimati Radhika in Vrindavan will rise up in their heart automatically. Gaura Prema Rasanave, Say Taranga Jeva Dube, Say Radhamadav Antaranga. Srila Narottam Das Thakur said, if one immerses himself in the waves of the ocean of Gaura Lila, then he'll dip under the water, and when he comes out, he'll find that, oh, she is a very intimate maidservant of Radha Madhav in Vrindavan. My Gurudev used to say that if you go to Nidai Ghat in Navadvip, that place where when Mahaprabhu was leaving to go take sannyas, go to Katwa, where he jumped in the Ganga to leave behind all the Navadvip Vasis, and everyone's hearts were broken in separation from him. If you go and dip under the water there in Navadvip, when you come out at Keshi Ghat in Vrindavan. So this is the speciality of Gaura Lila. Though Radha Krishna's Lila is extremely difficult to attain, but the service of Gaura Nitai, they are very merciful. They don't accept any offenses. They welcome everyone. And if someone will have devotion to Gaura Nitai, then very easily they'll attain the Atyanta Dulabha Prem, extremely inaccessible and difficult to attain love for Radha Krishna in Vrindavan. Perhaps you know that when Nimai Pandit, he was a young man, student, he was very proud. He was always quarreling with others over Navya Nyaya, the new style of logic, over grammar, astrology, and so many different mundane, worldly subjects. He used to debate, and he was relishing, this is called his Vidya-vilas, pastimes of education, educational pastimes, the Vidya-vilas of Nimai the Pandit. But after Nimai Pandit went to Gaya to offer pinda for his deceased father, there he met his Guru Pada Padma, Srila Ishvara Puripad, and received Diksha from him. After that, he was completely transformed. He began to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra and remember his Diksha mantra, Gopal mantra. And very soon, he saw a beautiful boy with a complexion shining like sapphires, like polished kajal, anjan, with beautiful lotus eyes, playing on a flute beneath a kadamba tree. His fragrance was so attractive that Vishwambar, he could not resist and he ran towards to embrace that beautiful boy, but he disappeared. Then Nimai Pandit became mad, rolling on the ground, crying, Ha Krishna, Krishna, where are you? Sometimes laughing, sometimes crying, sometimes dancing. He was Vivash, that means helpless. He was not in control. His emotions, the waves of emotions were doing everything, carrying him. So he went back to his Gurudev. He said, "Oh Gurudev, Kiba mantra dil gosai, kiba tarba, jopite mantra koile pagal." Oh Gurudev, what kind of mantra did you give me? What power is in it? I began to do japa of this mantra, and now I think I became pagal. I have gone quite insane. Then his Gurudev was very happy. He said, "Krishna Nama Mahamantra Eito Subhav Jai Japi Krishna Tare Upajai Bhav." This is the Subhav, the nature of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna Nama Mahamantra Eito Swabhav. This is the nature of this mantra. That Jai Jape, those who repeat this mantra, they do japa. Then Tarise Upajai Bhav. Ecstatic love for Krishna awakens in the heart. So then Mahaprabhu's Guru taught him a verse. Evam Brataswa Priyanam Kirtya Jatano Rago Drutachit Utchai Hasasati Rotiti Rati Gayatun Maravan Nritati Lokabhaya. It is from Srimad Bhagavatam. His Guru said this is the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. Evam Brata. A person who has taken a vow in this way to chant the names of Krishna, then what will happen to him? Druta Chitta Utchai. His Jatanu Rago, his heart will melt with anurag, deep attachment for Sri Krishna. It's amazing. So a question comes, Evam Brata. In this way, one who takes a vow to chant the names of Krishna, Priyanam, which are dear, very dear to him. Like Radha Raman, Gopinath, Radhakanta, Vinod Bihari, very dear names of Krishna. So Evam, in this way, what does that mean? That is a reference to the previous verse. In the previous verse, it is said, Sinvans subhadrani ratangapane janmani karmani chayani loke. That one should hear and chant the auspicious janma and karma, the birth and activities of Krishna. Chayani loke, even in your own language. Here means even whatever you speak. If you speak Hindi, Bengali, English, French, German, Russian, Spanish, in your own language you can glorify Krishna's birth and pastimes. Namani Katani Gayan Vilaje Vicharen Asangaha. Gayan Vilaja. You should sing. Asangaha, without any attachment to worldly things. Vicharen, wandering here and there, going from place to place, and sing loudly. Vilaja. This is very important. Vilaja means without shyness. Sometimes you see there's a kirtan and the people stand like this in the corner looking. They don't want to jump in the middle of the kirtan and dance. They think, oh, others are looking at me. What is this? Only ahankar, false ego. Thinking about not even ourselves. Ourself is dying. In the dream state in this world, suffering so much. But the material ego is afraid. What? Afraid of going in the kirtan, because the kirtan will melt that ego completely away. So it doesn't want to go. So don't listen to your ahankar, your ego. When the kirtan of Mahaprabhu begins, then run there at once and jump in the middle and dancing like a mad person and singing at the top of your voice, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Like there's no tomorrow. Like tomorrow you will die, this is your last kirtan. Every time you should be like this. So Gitani Namani Chayani Loke Gayan Vilajjat Vicharen Asangaha. So Mahaprabhu's guru taught him, if you chant the holy names like this, without any shame, without any hesitation, without any shyness, always singing and dancing, then what will happen? Then your heart will melt. Jatanu rago dhutta chitta utschai. And you will begin to see the pastimes of Sri Krishna. And these pastimes make the devotee laugh, make the devotee cry, make the devotee sing and dance. He becomes vivash. That means out of control, because the holy name has taken over his body and mind completely. It has taken over his pran completely, all senses. This is called Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Mahaprabhu said, all glories to Kirtan. So if there is Jai, Vijay, victory, there should be defeat also. So who has victory and who has defeat? That means, may my material mind, my material senses, everything be defeated, and may the holy name have victory, take over everything. Just like a king, if he's in a battle and he defeats his opponent, this is Jai, but not Vijay. It's Vijay when the king then goes to the palace of the other king and sits on his throne, and then takes over the whole kingdom and appoints his own minister of education, minister of finance, minister of the employment, like that. Now this is Vijay, he's controlling everything. So Mahaprabhu said, Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Surrender to the holy name and let the holy name take over your whole body and mind completely. So in this way, Mahaprabhu's guru, Vishwara Puripad, told him, you are very fortunate. Don't think that you have become mad, but rather this is the natural result of chanting Harinam. So then Nimai Pandit from Gaya, he returned to Navadvip. But now when he came back to Navadvip, he was no longer Nimai the Pandit, the clever scholar quarreling with everyone over logic. No, now he was Rasik Nimai. Nimai who was full of Bhakti Rasa, Prema Rasa, love for Sri Krishna. So his life was completely changed by this process of Diksha. Do you have, raise your hand if you have Diksha? No? So is your life completely changed like that?
Yes.
You can think. No. So Diksha is of different types. Huh? There is an Anustanik Diksha. Anustanik Diksha means the ceremony was performed. The ceremony of the initiation was performed. But then there's Vidvat Rudhi Diksha. Vidvat Rudhi Diksha. Vidvat Rudhi Diksha means Diksha as it is understood by the enlightened persons, the real meaning of Diksha. Divyam Jnanam Yatodadhyat Karya Papa Sasankshaya Tasmat Dikshesi Sa Prokta Deshikais Tatvako Vidai. Those who are learned in all the tattvas, all the principles of Shastra, they have said Diksha is a process by which all your material sanskars, your previous personality, everything is removed. Tomar sevaya bulinu sakala seva sukha paye mani amito toma tumito ama ki kaj apanatani. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, "Oh my Lord, since I engaged in your service, purva itihasa bulinu sakala seva sukha paye mani, I have forgotten my own past history. Who I was before, I cannot remember. Purva itihas, bulinu sakala. All my past history I have forgotten. Seva sukha paimani, in the happiness of serving you. All I remember is this. Tomar tumito ama. I am yours and you are mine, Krishna. I don't know anything else." This is Vidvat Rudhi Diksha. The actual initiation. All the material, previous bad habits have gone away. And Divya Jnanam. Diksha means Diyate. Divya Jnana. Transcendental knowledge is given. Divya Jnanam Hyatramantra Srimati Bhagavat Surupa Jnana Tena Bhagavat Sambandha Vishesh Jnanam Cha. Srila Jiva Goswami explaining this verse, he said Divya Jnana means that divine knowledge is imparted to the disciple by the medium of the mantra, the Gopal mantra. And this knowledge has two aspects. Bhagavat Surupa Jnana, that is the beautiful form of your Ishtadev, that form of Krishna with whom you have a personal relation. And Bhagavat Sambandha Vishesh Jnanam Cha, and knowledge of your own Vishesh, that is called Vishesh Sambandha Jnana, of your own particular relationship with Krishna. This manifests by the power of the Gopal mantra. So don't be complacent thinking, yes, I have Diksha. You should think that Gurudev is very mercifully allowed us to enter into the school of Diksha, because it's a process. Only if you enroll in college doesn't mean that you have a degree. You have to attend the classes. You have to do the homework. You will have to be tested also and submit your thesis. And then you can have the degree. So in the same way, when Gurudev gives Diksha, now we have begun the process. But we should not think, I am initiated. We should think, by Gurudev's Kripa, causeless mercy, I have a great chance. And I should not blow this chance. Because the Vidvatvadi Diksha, the actual Diksha, is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu experienced. And until that happens, like Mahaprabhu, that complete transformation and realization of our loving relationship with Sri Krishna, then we have not really completed our Diksha process. So in Diksha, this is called Panchanga Diksha. There are 5 aspects. First of all, Mantrartha Chintan. When you remember your mantra, you should remember the meaning of each word of the mantra. You should remember the deity of the mantra, who is the Adhistatri Devata of that mantra. And you should remember what is your particular relationship with that deity. Some devotees, they have a mood in Sakya, Dasya, Vatsalya, mainly those in our line. Those who are in the line of Rupa Goswami are related in Madhurya Rasa. So this is called Mantrartha Chintan. 3 things are there. The meaning of the words of the mantra, meditate on this. Who is the deity of the mantra, and also your relationship with that deity. Then, the next thing is called Nyas. Nyas means to place. So you should place your soul at the feet of your Ishtadev. Don't just remember the mantra with the mind wandering here and there. Be in the presence at the lotus feet of your Ishtadev. That is called Nyas. And another meaning of Nyas is repetition. Guru gives some instruction to remember the mantra, whatever, sometimes 8 times, sometimes 10 times. So actually one mantra can reveal everything. But because the mind is restless and we may not be focused, so Gurudev is very kind, he gives us 10 chances, 1, 2, 3, to remember the mantra. So that's called Nyas. Then Prapatti. Prapatti means to approach your Ishtadev in your heart and say, I am taking complete shelter of you. To give up all fear of this material world, to know that your Supreme Lord will always protect you. So the next anga is called Sharanagati. It has 6 things. Anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya vivarchana rakshikshati vishvakso goptitvaibhanam tata atmanikshepnakapanye sadvida Sharanagati. In your life, to accept everything which is favorable for bhakti. And what is unfavorable, you have to unequivocally reject it, kick it out from your life. Otherwise, Diksha will not go on. So to accept what is favorable, reject what is unfavorable to the service of your Ishtadev. Rakshishtati Vishvaso, to have a complete confidence that in the times of danger, my Ishtadev will always save me. And Goptitve Bharana, my Ishtadev is my maintainer. Today, tomorrow, when I'm old and in my next life, whenever, my Ishtadev will always take care of me if I am engaged in sincerely serving him without any motivation. But then, dainya, to be very humble and consider, my Lord, I am not qualified to be your servant. Only by your good qualities, please accept me. And finally, Atmanivedan, Atmanikshepan. That means, oh my Lord, everything is yours. Nothing is mine. Even my own soul is not mine. My soul, even I belong to you. My soul does not belong to me, my soul belongs to you. So this is Sharanagati. And then the last Anga of Diksha, that is called Atmanivedan. Now you may ask the question, but the last part of Sharanagati is also called Atmanivedan. So why is it there 2 times? Why? Because in the 4th Anga, there Atmanivedan is there to offer yourself. But at that time you don't know who you are. So in that stage, Atmanivedan means everything that you know, your body, your mind, your words, all your time and energy, you give it to Krishna. But when you follow these 4 Angas of Bhakti, what will happen? Then mantra will open and you'll have darshan of Krishna and realize your own swarup. Then in your spiritual form, Atmanivedan. So first Atmanivedan is what you know, what you have. And last Atmanivedan is when you know your Atma, in your Atma Swarup, your spiritual form, then you begin your service to Radha and Krishna. So this will come by Gopal Mantra. And then by Kam Gayatri, oh, very beautiful moods, the mood in which how to serve. So Gurudev is very kind in giving these things. We should be very, very careful. Don't be satisfied with the Anustanik Diksha, only initiation as a formal ceremony. And try to follow the example of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, whose Diksha was actually Vidvat Rudhi Diksha. Diksha in the true meaning of the sense, the removal of all worldly sanskars and the awakening of Divya Gyan, our transcendental knowledge and loving relationship. So when Mahaprabhu, he went back to Navadvip, now he was drowning in feelings of separation from Sri Krishna. Our Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Pad here said, Krishna Lilamrita Pura, Krishna Lila Sukarpur, Duhe Mili Hoya Sumadura, Sadhu Guru Prasadei, Tajai Ashwadei, Sejane Madhurya Prachura, Sejane Madhurya Prachura. The meaning is that Chaitanya Lila is Amritapur. It is very sweet and thick like condensed milk. And Krishna Lila, Sukarpur, is like very fine camphor. If you add some camphor to the very thick condensed milk, then Duhi Mili Hoi Sumadur, this mixture, it is very, very sweet. So in the same way, Sadhu Guru Prasade, by the mercy of a Sadguru, bona fide Guru, then a person, Tahaje Ashwade, they can taste this mixture, not only Gaura Lila, not only Krishna Lila, but the mixture of Gaura Lila and Krishna Lila can be tasted by the mercy of a bona fide Rasik Vaishnav Guru. And then that person who tastes it, he can know Madhurya Prachura. That means abundant, overflowing unlimited sweetness. Krishna has said, Apani karimu bhakta bhava angikari, apani achari bhakti shikamu savari. I will take the mood of a devotee and I will teach bhakti to everyone else by my own example. And I will taste it also. Why? Because the waves of moods, the emotions of Krishna's devotees, they make Krishna experience chamatkar, astonishment. Even Krishna is astonished seeing the love of his devotees. You remember at Rath Yatra festival, sometimes the red cart, it would not move, it was stuck. And Lord Jagannath's eyes became big. Why? He was looking at Mahaprabhu dancing. And even Lord Jagannath, what to speak of the crowds of people were amazed seeing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dancing. Lord Jagannath himself was amazed seeing this dancing. So this is a wonderful thing, that the moods of bhakti are chamatkar, astonishing, even to God, Krishna himself. So he wants to taste them. So he becomes a devotee in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and tastes them, and simultaneously he teaches us how to follow the path of bhakti. Now a question comes. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna realizing Radha Bhav, the moods of Srimati Radhika. This is his main reason for appearing. So we cannot come to that stage. We cannot be Radharani. Right? Only Radharani is Radharani. Only Radharani is tasting the highest Madhanakya Mahabhav. So what did Mahaprabhu come to give? Anarpita charim chirat karunaya vartena hakalo samarpaitum unnata ujjvala rasam swabhakti sriyam. He came to give the swabhakti sriyam, the beauty of Radhika's love. If there's a creeper growing, the creeper may be beautiful, but it's more beautiful when it has leaves and flowers and new fresh buds. So the new fresh buds on the creeper, they are called manjaris. Radhara Swarupa Krishna Prema Kalpalata Sakigana Hoy Tarapal Pushpapatta. Sri Ramananda Roy, he said, Radhika is like a wish-fulfilling creeper who fulfills all the wishes of Krishna. But that creeper has flowers and manjaris and leaves. So those leaves, they are Radhika's sakis. And those manjaris on that creeper, they are Radhika's manjaris, her maidservants. So the sakis, the friends of Srimati Radhika, they're almost about the same age, sometimes a little older, sometimes a little younger. They're her contemporaries. So when Radhika meets with, they arrange for Radhika to meet with Krishna. But when Radha and Krishna meet together very intimately in the Nikunj, then Lalit and Vishaka and others, they don't want Radha Krishna to be embarrassed, so they retreat and they go somewhere else to give privacy for Radha and Krishna. But there are some younger gopis. They're somewhat younger. And they're Nyuna Abhijata. Nyuna Abhijat means that they have a somewhat lower status in society than Lalita and Vishaka, who have almost equal status like Radhika. So they are the dasis of Radharani, her maidservants. And in front of them, she has no shyness at all. So when Radha and Krishna meet together very intimately, though the other sakis have to leave, but those manjaris, the younger gopis, they can enter the kunj and serve Radha and Krishna. So they are very, very fortunate. They are not so great like Lalita and Vishaka. That means in Padamaryada. According to Padamaryada, that means the etiquette or the protocol of their status in the group of gopis, they are lower. But in terms of Seva Saubhagya, that is the fortunate opportunities to serve Radha Krishna, then they are superior in that respect. So don't think manjaris are greater than Lalita and Vishaka. Sakhi gana mama parama surita jugala premera guru. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who is the incarnation of Kamala Manjari, said, oh, the Astasakis, Lalita, Vishaka, Chitra, Champakalata, Induleka, Tungavidya, Rangadevi and Sudevi, they are all my gurus. They teach me different arts in the service of Radha and Krishna. But when Radha and Krishna meet together very intimately, they cannot serve then, so they have to teach those arts to the Manjaris, so that then when they go away, then the Manjaris can utilize those arts in Radha and Krishna's seva. So just as the creeper is more beautiful when it has Manjaris growing there, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave to give the beauty of Radhika's love. That means the mood of Rupa Manjari, Rati Manjari, Lavanga Manjari, Radharani's maid servants. You know that on the tulsi, sometimes a manjari grows and then some flowers come. But the flowers come here at the bottom and the manjari extends. They're like small buds extending. Then a bumblebee is attracted to the flower. And the bumblebee comes and lands on the flower to take the honey. Not on the manjari, on the flower. But when the bumblebee is taking the honey from the flower, then the manjaris are trembling. So that means that when Sri Krishna meets with Radhika, he is like the bumblebee tasting the honey of the heart of Srimati Radhika. Then at that time, all the manjaris there watching and trembling. Because the Prem of Radhika, this is called Yavadashrai Briti, the Prem of Radhika emanates in waves and permeates anyone who is close enough to see and churns their heart. That is called Asan Janata Vid Vilolan, the churning of the heart of anyone who is close enough to hear or see the beautiful meeting of Radha and Krishna. So this is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give. Someone may say, Anarpita Chiram Chirat, this Prem was never given before. But we hear that in ancient times, sometimes the Vedas personified, the Shrutis, they became gopis. Sometimes we hear the rishis, the sages of Dandakaranya, who saw Lord Ramachandra. And they were very attracted to him, but they were remembering Gopal mantra. Lord Ramachandra said, in this life I have Ekapatni Vrat, a vow to have only one wife. But I bless you, that in your next life you will become gopis. So those sages of Dandakaranya, they also became gopis. So mood of gopis has been given before. So why is it said, Anarpita Chirim Chirat, this love that Mahaprabhu is given, this Sakhi mood was never given before? Why? Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his Gita Mala, he says, Pancha Sakhi Madhya Charni Tu Siddha Radhika Seiko Koli Sodana Na Koilo. The meaning is, Radharani has 5 types of Sakhis. First, Paramprastha Sakhis. Those are Asta Sakhis, Lalita Vishaka and so on. Then, the followers of the Asta Sakhis, they are called the Priya Sakhis. These 2 groups of Sakhis, they love Radha and Krishna equally. Then, after that, there is the Prana Sakhis and Nitya Sakhis. They have more love for Radhika than for Krishna even. Prana Sakhi, and the followers of the Prana Sakhis, the Nitya Sakhis. And then the last group is just called Sakhi, like Dhanishta Sakhi, and Kundalata, Brinda Devi. These Sakhis, they have more love for Krishna than for Radhika. So there are 5 groups. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, of these 5 groups, 4 of the groups are Nitya Siddha. That means you can't become one of them. 4 groups are Nitya Siddha. They're eternal associates of Radha and Krishna. So any jiva in this world cannot become one of them. So only one group is left, that is called Nitya Sakhi. They have more love for Radhika than for Krishna. So in ancient times, devotees like Bilvamangal Thakur, Chandidas Vidyapati, they attained the position of gopis. The Rishikari gopis of Dandakaranya, and the Vedas personified also, they also became Nitya Sakhis. Then someone can say, oh, but I thought Rupa Goswami said this love was never given before. And the meaning is that among the Nitya Sakhis there's a subgroup. And that subgroup is called Manjaris. And this Manjari Bhav was never given before. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared to give this position of Palya Dasi Bhav, being a very protected, near and dear, but junior Sakhi of Srimati Radhika. Now one may say that if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Apni karimu bhakta bhava angikari, apni achari bhakti sikamu sobari, I will teach bhakti by my own example. Then the question comes, if Mahaprabhu is distributing this mood, Radha Dasyam, but did he teach this mood of being a maidservant of Radhika by his own example or not? Because if he did not teach by his own example, how will anyone know? So, in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, there are at least 3 examples where Mahaprabhu was in the mood of the manjaris. Generally, Mahaprabhu was relishing Radhika's mood. Sometimes he would relish Sakhi's mood, but sometimes he would relish Manjari's mood. Why? Because he came to teach us the path. So we'll discuss this today. How Mahaprabhu is showing us our own bhajan pranali, process of bhajan. One day, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was with his associates, and they were he was going from Kashi Mishra Bhavan, the house of Kashi Mishra, where he stays in one room there, small room called the Gambhira. So from there he left with his associates and he was walking towards the ocean because he goes to take bath every day 3 times in the ocean in Jagannath Puri. As Mahaprabhu was walking along the shore, he saw in the distance a very large sand dune. This sand dune is famous by the name of Chatak Parvat. So when Mahaprabhu saw this, he was in such a high mood that he mistook it for Giraj Govardhan. This is his habit. Bana deki Brahma hoye ei Vrindavan, Shala deki Mana hoye ei Govardhan, Jahan nari deki taha mone kolindi, Mahaprema veshi pabu nache pade kande. If Mahaprabhu would see a forest, he would think, oh, this is Vrindavan. If he would see a river, or sometimes the ocean, he would think, this is Jamuna. And if he would see a hill, then he would have a spurti, a vision of Giraj Govardhan, and begin to dance, and overwhelmed with Prem, he would faint and fall to the ground. So on this day, when he saw Giraj Govardhan, that is Chatak Parvat, he began to run very quickly. So Mahaprabhu is very, very tall, and he can run at the speed of the wind. He can run at the speed of mind even. But on this day, it wasn't that fast, only the speed of the wind on this day. So as he set off, his other associates, they tried to keep up with him. Gadara Pandit, Swarab Damodar, Jagadananda, those are of similar age, but they could not catch him. Or to speak of the older devotees, his seniors like Paramananda Puri, Brahmananda Bharati, they were older, they had no chance. Bhagavan Acharya was there also. He has a bad leg, he's lame. So he was limping, he was the last to try to get there. So as Mahaprabhu was running and running towards Chatak Parvat, then he called out a verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Hantaya madre abala haridasavarya yad Rama Krishna charnas parasha pramoda manam tanoti sahago ganayas Pani yasuya vasakanda kanda mulai Hantaya Mahadya Abalahai Dasavar. Hanta. Radharani herself has spoken this verse. She's amazed. She thinks, oh, how Govardhan is serving Krishna and Balaram and all the cowherd boys all the time. Hantaya Madhya Abalahai Dasavar. So Govardhan is strong. He's not like us. We are girls. We're abal. We have no strength. Hantaya Madhya Abala Haridasavara Yad Rama Krishna Charanas Parasha Pramoda. She mentions Balaram, but this is only to hide that she is attached only to Krishna. So Rama Krishna means Raman Krishna. My beloved Krishna, Ramana Krishna, Charanas Parasha Pramoda. When Govardhan is touched by the feet of Krishna, then all his hairs are standing on end. Don't think that this is grass growing. This is the ecstasy of Govardhan's hair standing on end. Then Maniya Suya Vasakandara Kandamule. Govardhan is serving Krishna in all ways, not only Krishna, but all the boys and all the cows. Even though millions of cows are trampling over him, Govardhan never thinks this is an inconvenience. If Guru gives some service to the disciple, it's very difficult. But the disciple, oh, this is so difficult, it's a very big responsibility. I can't do it. That is not a real disciple. A real disciple, when they have the weight of responsibility on their head, then the suffering, the difficulty that they have to face is a cause of joy. So Radhika is saying, because Govardhan is given so much difficulty by the hard hooves of thousands of cows, but he's a real das, the real servant, because he feels joy in the face of those difficulties. Manam tanoti sahago ganayas paniya suyavas khandara khandamule. And Govardhan is worshipping Krishna, just like a pujari. A pujari offers dup, deep, pushpa, asan, everything. So Govardhan is offering Krishna a sitting place. Govardhan is offering the deep. Why? The trees are very dense, and some rays of light are shining through the trees, like the light coming from a deep. And when the wind blows, then the trees move, so the light coming through the trees is moving around, like offering arti to Krishna. When the cows are running, sometimes their hooves hit a stone and a spark jumps out and lands on an agur plant. And the agur plant begins to smoke. And in this way, Esha, Dupa, Giraj Govardhan is offering the incense to Krishna. Govardhan is offering fresh water. Krishna sits on a rock by a waterfall and dips his toes in there. Etat Padyam. And Govardhan is washing the feet of Krishna. So just as a pujari is serving the deity with 16 types of articles, so does Upacha. So in this way, Giraj Govardhan is serving Krishna and all his friends completely. In fact, the whole body of Govardhan is Krishna's playground. So Radharani is thinking, oh, this Govardhan is very lucky. I also would like that my whole body would be Krishna's playground, but I am not so fortunate. But if I do parikrama of Govardhan, if you respect someone, their qualities come to you. Why do we do Guru Puja every day? By worshipping Gurudev every day, by giving respect, all the transcendental qualities of Gurudev become transferred to us. The bhavs in the heart of Gurudev come to us. So Radhika tells the Gopi, oh Sakhi, come on, let's go to Govardhan and do parikrama. Because by respecting Govardhan, then this power to serve Krishna in all ways by every limb of our body, then this power will come to us. Now we're abal, we have no strength, but by the mercy of Govardhan, he can bless us and we can be like him and serve Krishna fully. So Radhika herself said, Hantaya Mantre Abala Haridasa Varya. Govardhan is the best servant of Krishna. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he uttered this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam and he ran as fast as the wind to Chatak Parvat. And just as he was approaching there, he was struck with a very powerful ecstasy and he became stunned. And his body became still like a statue. His hairs were standing on end. Every pore of his skin began to open and look like a kadamba flower. Tears were flowing from his eyes and perspiration was dripping down his body. Some blood also was coming from the pores of his skin. And he became completely pale, white like a conch shell. Then he was trembling like a leaf in the breeze. And then the next moment, Mahaprabhu fell to the ground unconscious. So Govinda, Mahaprabhu's son, he was the first one to arrive there. And when he saw Mahaprabhu lying on the ground, he began to cry. He took his cloth and began to fan him. Then Swarup Damodar Goswami arrived there, Gadadhar Pandit, Jagannatha Pandit and others. And seeing the condition of Mahaprabhu, they were weeping. So then they all began to chant very loudly to try to bring him back into external consciousness. So they began to chant. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama eyes and stood up. And he was looking at the sky. He was looking for something. But what he was looking for, he could not see. Then he said to Swarup Damodar, how did I come here? Why did you bring me here? I was at Govardhan. I saw that Krishna had climbed to the top of Giriraj Govardhan. And Krishna was playing his flute. At that time, being attracted by the sound of his flute, Radhika and the gopis, they were dressed very, very beautifully with the Dwadash Alankar, with the Dwadash Abharana, 12 types of gold ornaments, rings, nose ring, necklaces, bangles, armlets, ankle bells, toe rings, waist bells, and the solar shringa, 16 types of cosmetics, with a kajal, lipstick, kumkum, kasturi, chandan, paintings on the body of chandan, from head to toe. Every gopi was extraordinarily beautiful. And they came running there at Govardhan looking for Sri Krishna. So then Sri Krishna came down from the mountain and met face to face with Radhika. They were laughing and they were playing. This meeting of Radha Krishna is very beautiful. You should know that Radhika and her Sakhis are non-different. Actually, Krishna and Radhika are non-different. Radha Purna Shakti, Krishna Purna Shakti Man. Radhika is Krishna's Shakti, and all the gopis are the embodiment of Radhika's bhavs, Radhika's moods, each one. Lalita is Radhika's Lalit bhav, Vishakha is Radhika's Vishesh bhav, Rupamanjari is Radhika's Rup, Ratimanjari is Radhika's Rati. Like this. So each mood of Radharani has a murti, and they're all her various Sakhis. So this meeting of Radha and Krishna and all the Sakhis is so wonderful. Without the Sakhis, Radha Krishna cannot experience any joy. Ramananda Roy, he said, Sakhi bina e lila pushti nahiyai, Sakhi lila vistariya Sakhi ashwadai. When Radha and Krishna meet, there are waves of Prem. And the first wave of Prem appears in the hearts of the Sakhis. Because Radhika, she has some contrary mood to Krishna. But her Sakhis see Krishna. One Sakhi will say, Kiba chuda sire, kiba bangsi kare, kiba setri bangatam. Oh, how charming he is with his peacock feather. What a very graceful posture he has. And he plays his flute, and the sound of his flute is mixing with the sound of his ankle bells. And so when one Sakhi is speaking, glorifying the beauty of Krishna, another Sakhi will listen and start to have a favorable mood. They were all against at first. But the Sakhi will start to have a favorable mood towards Krishna. And then when that Sakhi has a favorable mood towards Krishna, then she'll inspire Radhika. Oh, come with me, come. And try to make Radhika meet with Krishna. So the first wave of love, it comes in the heart of the Sakhis and they become favorable. And then when they're favorable to Krishna, because generally you see, when the wind blows, then the creeper moves. And the creeper has so many leaves and manjaris. So when Krishna approaches Srimati Radhika, she's like the creeper. And the wind of Prem moves. And that means that all the manjaris are moving. They come in front of Krishna like this and say, no. You cannot meet with our Sakhi, no. Go back to your village, go back to your cows. But a wave of love comes in the Sakhis. And some Sakhis, they speak in a favorable way, and then this mood overflows to Radhika, and she has some courage. And she starts being a little bit submissive towards Krishna. As soon as Krishna sees that Radhika has become a little bit submissive, then Krishna becomes very naughty. So the third wave of love comes in Krishna. And Krishna will say something quite outrageous, or try to touch Radhika by force. And as soon as then Krishna does this, then all the gopis, they come in front of Radhika, try to protect her, and they protest and complain. Oh, he's so bad. But this is all chal. This is all cheating. One thing you have to know about Brijbasis, they're all liars. Everyone is lying. All the gopis are, ooh, did you see what he did? Very bad. And they all criticize him. But in their hearts they're feeling the Ananda, Paramananda, they're so joyful. So Mahaprabhu said, he was seeing this, how Krishna came down from Govardhan, how the gopis surrounded Radhika and they were stopping Krishna. But then the wave of love came in them and they became favorable. Then they made Radhika favorable. Then Krishna came and he was very naughty. His behavior was very naughty. And all the Sakhis are complaining, protesting, criticizing. But all this complaining, protesting and criticizing is all child completely false. They're actually very, very happy. Actually, this is what they wanted. Everyone wanted this. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was seeing all of this. After some time, then by the arrangement of the Sakhis, Radha and Krishna, they went into one Kandara, a cave of Govardhan. So Govardhan is the best servant of Radha Krishna. When they go inside, there's a beautiful places for sitting, beautiful mirrors, beautiful deeps illuminating, and everything that they need there. Kumkum, Kasturi, Chandan. Everything they need for their pastimes is there in the caves of Govardhan. So Radha and Krishna entered into the cave. Then Mahaprabhu said to Swarup Damodar Goswami, at that time, one of the Sakhis told me, go and pick some flowers to make a garland. And then I was just going to pick the flowers, and suddenly you all brought me here. Why did you bring me here? I was very happy there. Why did you bring me to this place? And Mahaprabhu was crying. So what does it mean? Is Mahaprabhu in Radhabhav? No. He said, I saw Radha Krishna meet and they went in a cave. And then one of the Sakhis told me, go and pick flowers. This means Mahaprabhu is in Radhabhav here. Chodato Purusha Bhiman Kinkari Hoinu Ajika Kinkari Hoinu Ajika Braja Bipine Saki Seva Karabo Radhanath Ganto Bimaila Manoharini Niti Radha Krishna Vimohini Chodata Purusha Bhiman Kinkari Hoinu Ajika. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he said, Chodata Purush Abhiman, give up your Purush Abhiman, the pride, the mood that you are the enjoyer. Don't think Purush is only means male person. Everyone in this world who thinks they are enjoyer of the material world, they have a Purush Abhiman. Because the material energy is Prakriti. It is not for our enjoyment. Our Atma is also Prakriti, feminine, not the enjoyer. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, Chodato Purush Abhiman. Today, King Kori Hoinu Ajikan, O Khan Krishna. Today I left behind my material identity and have become your Kinkari, your maidservant. The Kinkaris of Radhika and Krishna, they are so glorious. Sri Radha Pada Padma Chavi Mataratara Prematsis Jyotire Gambude Udbhut Pain Stavakamayatanu Savavaidakjapurna Kaishora Vyantita Stadga Rugapagana Sri Chamatkara Bhajo Divyarankar Vastra Anusarsa Sakhi Radhika Kinkaristaha. Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur said, oh, my dear friend, leave everything and just become a follower of the Kinkaris, the maidservants of Radhika. Why? Radha Pada Chavi Madarataya. The lotus feet of Radhika are Krishna's only treasure. And the lotus feet of Radhika are effulgent. with a glow of Prem. And the effulgence of Prem emanating from the lotus feet of Radhika condenses and becomes an ocean. And this ocean has high waves. And when the high waves of this ocean crash down, it throws a foam into the air. And the kinkaris, the maidservants of Shrimati Radhika, that is their bodies. The bodies of the maidservants of Radhika are made from the foam emanating from the waves of Prem, emanating from the lotus feet of Radhika. This is what it means. Kinkari, Manjari. They are so beautiful. They are Sarvavaidagya expert in all arts, singing, dancing, playing musical instruments, decorating the kunj, decorating Radhika, making so many riddles, praheli, jokes, and also very expert at cheating Radharani's husband, mother-in-law, sister-in-law, their own family members, cheating Chandravali also and other gopis. So these are all the skills they are very fortunate. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, oh, today I gave up my Purush Abhiman and became one Kinkari. And I will serve Radha and Krishna. Ganto Vimala Manoharini. I will go to the forest and pick so many beautiful flowers and make a charming garland for Radha and Krishna. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on this day, when he fainted at Chatak Parvat, he was experiencing that. Oh Saki, go and pick flowers now. And then in the Manju's mood, he went, but suddenly the loud kirtan of Swarup Damodar Goswami and other devotees bored Mahaprabhu back into external sense, and he was crying, oh, I lost this great treasure. So when will that day come when we will do bhajan like this, chanting the holy name and realizing Nitya Seva Radha and Krishna, and then that spurti will disappear, and then we weep. Ha Devika Kuparagat Gadayadhyavacha Yacheni Bhakti Bhuvidanda Vatutpatati Asya Prasadam Avadasya Janasya Krita Gandharvikeni Jagane Gananam Videhi. Oh Gandharvika Radhika, I fall to the ground and I am begging you, weeping again and again, even though I am foolish, I am quite ignorant, but I request you just one mercy. What is that? You have one register with all the names of your dasis there. On the top of the list is Rupa Manjari, Rati Manjari, Lavanga Manjari. So Radhika, I just want you to just add my name right on the bottom of the list, please. These are the prayers of our acharyas. I don't want to be important, just make me the last one on the bottom of the list, but add my name there, please. So Mahaprabhu has taught this by his own pastime. Another day, just see how Mahaprabhu by his own example is teaching us. He was always in one of three states. Sometimes he was in Bahyadasha, external consciousness, and he was aware of the world. Sometimes he was chanting Harinam and he lost awareness of the external world and he was in Antardasha, internal consciousness, experiencing the pastimes of Krishna. And he would sometimes move from the internal to the external. So as he was going from one to another, he would be in Ardha Bahyadasha, half internal and half external. That means he's still seeing the spiritual world, but now his external senses have become active. So he's speaking in a way that people, they cannot understand outwardly, because he's speaking as if he's still there. So this is the Ardha Bahyadasha. But all the time, whether he was in internal, half or external consciousness, his mind was always absorbed. So Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami said, Snana Darshanam Bhojan Deya Swabhav Hoy Kumarera Chakarina Satata Pirai. If there is a potter and he has a potter's wheel and he wants to make a pot, so first he takes the clay and he puts the clay on the wheel, and the wheel is quite heavy. So first of all, he gets the wheel spinning. He tries. And he spins it. He puts so much effort into making it spin. And then once it's spinning by itself, then he has two hands are free. And with both hands now he can make his art. So Mahaprabhu was like that. Snana darashana bhojan deya swabhavhai. He would go to the ocean to take bath. He would go to the Jagannath temple for darshan. He would come back to his bhajan kutir and take Mahaprasadam. Then he would go to the ocean again and go to the temple again like this. So his day had a sequence every day. And how he was doing this? Naturally. In other words, he wasn't thinking, now I'll wake up, now I go to sleep, now I'll eat, now I'll go to the temple, now I'll go to bath. His body was out of habit because he was doing it every day. Deha swabhav hoy. It was the nature of his body. His body was doing this, going here and there, and internally he was completely free. Completely free to remember the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. This is the example of bhajan. Don't think that if you just chant 16 rounds every day, and now I'm a devotee. We have to come to this stage. Mahaprabhu is setting the example in his own life. But we are not at that stage yet. Which stage are we in? We're in the stage where we're trying to get the wheel to spin. Right? First, the potter has to make effort. Effort. And then when you put the effort in, the wheel spins by itself. So now we're trying to do bhajan kriya and enter into real sadhana bhakti by strictly every morning offering prayers, singing kirtan, remembering Gayatri mantras, chanting Harinam, and engaging in Guru Seva every day like this. And it takes effort. We feel it, that it's not so easy. We make effort. But if you continue to make this effort, after some time, it will go on automatically by itself. And your heart is free to always be absorbed in the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Radha and Krishna. Such a beautiful example in Mahaprabhu's life. So we aspire for this. So one day, Mahaprabhu, he went to the shore of the ocean. And there are many gardens along the shore of the ocean in Jagannath Puri with beautiful trees and flowers, with champak and bakul and beli, chameli, jui, so many different types of flowers. So when Mahaprabhu saw that, it reminded him of Vrindavan. So Rupa Goswami Pad said, Payura se stiris purad pavanali kalanaya Moho Vrindaranya smarana janita prema vivashaha Kvachit Krishna vriti prachala rasano bhakti raska So Chaitanya kimme punarapidisho yasyati bhajam. Rupa Goswami saw with his own eyes. So don't think I'm just telling some poetry, some artistic creation. Who has composed this poem was there, and he was there on this day, and he saw this pastime. Mahaprabhu was wandering through the gardens and seeing that it was Vrindavan. Then the waves of Prem rose up in his heart, and he became bivash, out of control. And he wasn't chanting the name by force himself, but the holy name was manifesting on his tongue automatically. Kvachit Krishna vriti prachala rasano bhakti rasika. So his tongue was Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare. Automatically, like he's possessed by a ghost. Praying is like that. Comes and possesses the devotee. So then at that time, Swarup Damodar Goswami, he began to sing verses from the Rasa Panchadhyaya of Srimad Bhagavatam. And when Mahaprabhu heard the verses of Swarup Damodar, then he would explain the feelings of the gopis during those verses. And then Mahaprabhu himself began to sing verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. So as he was wandering through the forests, Chuta Priyala Pasanasa Nako Vidara Jambaka Bilva Baklamra Kadam Banipa Yenye Parati Yamuna Bhavako O Yamuno Pakula Sanchantu Krishna Padavimra Itatmanamna. He was in the mood of Braj Gopis who when Krishna disappeared from Rasalila, they were searching everywhere for Krishna. So this is a verse of Rasa Panchadhyay, where the gopis are looking for Krishna. And they become so mad, they're talking to the trees. They think, oh, these trees are very tall, so they can see a long distance. So if we ask them, maybe in the distance they know where Krishna is. So the gopis said, Chuta, Priyal. Chuta means the mango tree. Priyala tree, Pasanasana, Kovidara tree, Jamba, that means the rose apple tree, Jambu tree. Arka, Bilva, Bakul tree, Kadamba Nipad, oh Kadamba tree, please tell us. Because you live on the bank of the holy river Jamuna, so all you trees must be sadhus. Because sadhus live in a holy place. And sadhus are very kind to others. So all you trees, you are very tall, you can see far. You are sadhus, so you are very kind. So please tell us, where is the son of Nanda Maharaj? We cannot live without him because Rahitat Manamna, he has stolen our hearts, he has stolen our minds. Now we have no mind, we have no intelligence. He's taken it with him. So please tell us where he is so we can get it back. So gopis were speaking like this to the trees. But what did the trees say in reply? Nothing. Gopis thought, oh, these trees, they're male persons. Briksha, they're male. And a male is very hard-hearted. They cannot understand the soft heart of a female. So this is why they don't give any reply to us. So then the gopis continued through the forest. Then they saw Tulsi. You can ask her, she was there. Eyewitness right here today. Gopi said to Tulsi, Kachit Tulsi Kalyani Govinda Charna Priye Satvali Kulabi Brad Jaste Pipochita. Oh, Tulsi, you are so Kalyani, you are so fortunate. Why? You are always at the lotus feet of Krishna. Krishna always has Tulsi on his lotus feet. And you're always in his garlands also. So please tell us, have you seen Achyuta, Krishna? They call Krishna Achyuta. Why? Achyuta means infallible. He never fails. Krishna never fails to make us cry. That's why his name is Achyuta. So when the gopis spoke to Tulsi Devi, then she also didn't give an answer. Why? Gopis thought, oh, what does she know about separation? She's always with Krishna. She's always in his garland, on his chest, on his lotus feet. She cannot understand our separation because she's so Kalyani, she's so fortunate. So then, gopis, they go further into the forest. Now Mahaprabhu himself is saying these verses as he's wandering through the gardens on the shore of the ocean in Jagannath Puri. So what bhav is he in? Is he in Radha bhav? No, it cannot be Radha bhav because at this point in the Rasalila, Radharani is with Krishna, right? Because when Krishna disappeared from the Rasalila, he took Radharani with him, and at that time all the gopis are searching everywhere. So from this, from the context, you can understand, at this moment, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not in Radha bhav. But rather, he's in the mood of those gopis who are searching everywhere, looking. But among those gopis, which gopis? Oh, now it comes. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Epiena patya pagata priyayeva gatrais tanvan dasham saki sunevrita attatova kantanga sanga kuchukunkuma ranjitaya kundasraja kulapatea apivati gandaha. The gopis were wandering through the forest, and then they saw one very beautiful female deer. So you know, deer, they're very shy, and they also have very beautiful big eyes, like gopis. Doe female deer is called doe eyes. The gopis are doe-eyed. So gopis said, "Hey, Apena pagata priyaiva gatres, oh wife of the male deer, you female deer, did you see Krishna coming this way, Priya, along with his beloved Radharani?" So here the word Priya means Radharani. People say Radharani's name is not in Bhagavatam, but here it is, Priya. Priya Gatrais. Did you see him walking here with his beloved? Tanvanda Shamsakti Sunirvita Atchatoba. Because we see such joy in your eyes. So this verse is actually spoken by Manjaris. Why? Because it is said, Sarva Bhuteshu Ya Pasyat Bhagavat Bhavam Atmana Bhutani Bhagavat Tatman Esha Bhagavat Uttama. That the Bhagavat Uttama, the highest level of devotee, they see their own mood everywhere. Right? So what is the mood of Manjaris? They want to see the meeting of Radha Krishna. Their only happiness is in Radhika's meeting with Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna virahi Radhika radasha amito sahite nare jugal milan suker karan jivan charite pari. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in the mood of Kamala Manjari said, when Radhika is separated from Krishna and I see her condition, I cannot tolerate it. For the sake of bringing Radhika to meet with Krishna, I am ready to give up my life. Not once, hundreds of times, for the sake of bringing Radha and Krishna together. So they have this mood that their only joy and that which gives to their eyes, joy to their eyes, is the meeting of Radha Krishna. So you know the deer in the forest, they have very big eyes. And sometimes they're chewing some herbs growing in the forest and they become intoxicated and they're very diluted pupils like this. So when the Manjaris saw the deer with big eyes, diluted pupils, it's like, oh, we've seen that look before. We've seen that look before. What kind of look is that? Pranayamaya vayasya kunjarandra pitakshi chittalman labdananda murcham patanti pratirata vidadano chastita chitra chitre smaranibritani kunje radhika Krishna Chandro. Rupa Goswami said, when Radha and Krishna meet together in the beautiful Ratna Bhavan, jeweled pavilion in the forest, at that time, the maidservants of Radhika, Pranayamaya, who are Pranayamai, they're made out of friendly love for Radhika. Pranayamaya Vayasya. They come up to the lattice windows and they peep inside. And when they see the loving union of Radha and Krishna, then they feel so much ananda that they faint and fall to the ground. This poetry is so beautiful. What's being described is not described, because poetry is you say one thing but you mean something else. It's in the dhvani. This is the nature of kavya. Kavya means you say one thing but what you want to say is something else, and only those who are rasik can understand it. So when Rupa Goswami said, the Manjaris look through the window, they peep through the lattice of the window, and then they faint in ecstasy and fall to the ground, means that inside that kunj, that the Radhika has fainted in ecstasy, and because her moods are reflected in them, so they have fainted. So then afterwards, when they wake up and they look at each other, they have eyes like these deer. So when the Manjaris are going through the forest, hey dear, I recognize this look in your eyes. So from this I know you must have seen Krishna and his beloved meeting here. Have you come to lead us to them? So then they're looking at the deer for an answer. And the deer was... And then the deer began to slowly walk away in one direction. Manjari said, "O Saki, look, the deer is taking us to Radha and Krishna. Let's follow." So then very softly, because the deer can get spooked, and run away quickly. So very softly the Manjaris are going through the forest of Vrindavan, following the deer. And then they got to a certain place, and suddenly the deer looked around and then bolted into the undergrowth and was gone. So then the Manjaris said to each other, probably Krishna said to that deer, "Hey deer, I'm going in this kunj now, don't tell anyone where I am." But now this deer was so kind to us and brought us to this place, that the deer is thinking, oh, my master, my Prabhu told me not to tell anyone where he is, so I should quickly leave, otherwise I'll be in trouble. You see? This is Sarva Bhutesu Yapaset Bhavamatmana. Those who have prayed, they see their own feelings, their own love, their own mood, their own relationship with Radha Krishna everywhere, in others. In trees, in the river, in birds, in the deer, in all animals. Praying is such a wonderful thing. So then, Kantanga Sangha Kuchukunkuma Ranjitaya Kunjastare Kulapatea Yavati Gandaha. That deer quickly ran away. And then a breeze was blowing. The dear Samir, the gentle breeze on the bank of Jamuna came, and gopis could smell something. They smelled the fragrance of kunda flowers. So Krishna, before, he was wearing a garland of kunda flowers. And they smelled the fragrance. Kantanga Sangha Kuchikunkuma Ranjitaya, the fragrance of kumkum. So kumkum is one type of cosmetic. Red, fragrant powder. Parag, the pollen of flowers, which the gopis smear on their chests. So when they embrace Krishna, then the kumkum from the chest of the gopis is rubbed onto his kunda flower garland. And now these two fragrances are mixing together. So when then the manjaris, they can smell the fragrance of the kunda flowers, they have a spurti of Krishna. They see Krishna in their heart. And when they smell the fragrance of the kumkum of Radhika, then they have a spurti of Radhika. Why is that? Lokotara padathanam prabhava kopyanagala ratim tad vishayam chaso basate turnamekada. Srila Rupa Goswami explained that all transcendental substances have anargala prabhav, unlimited power, inconceivable power. What do they do? You know, transcendental substances like charnamrita, like mahaprasadam, like the fragrance of incense and flowers offered to the Lord, tulsi leaves offered to the Lord, the holy name. All of these are the lokotara padartha, supernatural, transcendental substances beyond this world, and they have unlimited power, and that power consists of two things. Ratim tad vishayam chaso. Immediately, at the same time, two things happen. It causes a spurti, a realization of love and the object of love also. So the transcendental fragrance of Radhika's kumkum immediately caused the spurti. They saw in their heart Radhika. And the fragrance of the kunda flowers, immediately they saw in their hearts Sri Krishna. And the fragrances were mixed together. So when two things are mixed together in a compound, there are two types of compound. The first type of compound is called Sammilan Bhav. And this is like Tela Tandu. If you have the white sesame seeds, til, and tandul, rice, and you mix them together, then it's very hard to see which is which. But if you look closely, you say, oh, this is rice and this is the white sesame seed. So they are mixed together, and it's very difficult to separate them without much labor. But still, you can see a difference. Then the other type of compound, that is called Shankar Bhav. That is like near cheer. Milk and water. When you mix milk and water together, that's it. You cannot see a difference, and you cannot separate them. So at first, when the manjaris, they smelled the fragrance of the breeze. They could smell the mixture of the kumkum and the mixture of the kunda flowers, and the experience was a Sammilan Bhav. So they had a spurti of Radha and Krishna. And then the next moment, they smelled, and the fragrances were completely mixed together. And at that time, they had a spurti of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Understand? At that time, the mixture of the fragrance of Radha and Krishna came completely together. And they had the spurti in the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because he is Radha Krishna Milita Tanu, the joining of Radha Krishna's bodies. when Radha and Krishna meet together in a kunj, they are like a tiltandul alingan. There's one kind of embrace. They're called tiltandul alingan. So they see Radha Krishna there, but they have two faces. One face like a golden lotus, and one face like a blue lotus. They have 4 eyes, 4 arms, 4 legs. I like this. Oh, but at that time, when Radha Krishna became Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then every pore of the skin of Radhika is embracing every pore of the skin of Sri Krishna, and it becomes Gauranga Swarup. So, just by the fragrance there that the Manjris catch in the forest as they're searching for Radha Krishna, they had a darshan in their hearts of that Gauranga Swarup. Then they went further into the forest. Then Mahaprabhu is saying, Bahum Priyanks Upadaya Grihita Padmo Ramadnujas Tulasikalika Madanda Anviyaman Iyavastarava Pramanam Kimba Binandati Charan Pranayavalokai. The Manjari saw how the branches of the trees, they were bowing down. And they realized that when Krishna goes through the forest, all the trees burst into flowers and fruit appears, and so the branches become heavy, and they bow down like that as Krishna is walking past. So they asked the trees, "Oh trees, when Krishna walked past here and you gave pranam to him, did he acknowledge you with the pranayavalokai, with the loving glance? Or did he ignore you? And that is why you're still bowing down." You know, if there's a servant and they have a very respectable master, then when their master comes, they bow down, but they don't get up until the master gives them a blessing. Right? So gopis are thinking, these trees are bowed down because they see their own mood, because they are dasis of Radhika. They see their own mood, they think, oh, the trees must have bowed down. But did Krishna ignore you and not give you a loving glance and acknowledge you? Is this why you're still bowing down? Maybe he ignored you. Why? Here it says Ramanuja. Why are the gopis calling Krishna Ramanuja? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you can read Chaitanya Charitamrita. He's saying this verse. This verse is from Srimad Bhagavatam. There's so much rasa in every word. The gopis are calling Krishna Ramanuja. That means Ram, that is Balaram. Anuja means younger brother. He's the younger brother of Balaram. Now Balaram, he's the son of Rohini and Vasudev Maharaj. So Balaram is from the Yadu dynasty. And what are the Yadu dynasty famous for? Do you know? No? For getting drunk, yes, exactly. The Yadu dynasty are famous for getting drunk. If you see an old deity, thousands of years old, Balaram is always there with the cup. With the goblet of Varuni wine. Right? So they're famous. How did the Yadu dynasty disappear from this world?
They got drunk.
They all got drunk and had a fight with each other. This is one Mayik Leela. Not actually, but this is one Mayik Leela. But this is the reputation of the Yadus. They are drunkards. They're always getting drunk. So when the gopis call Krishna Ramanuja and say, oh, he's the younger brother of Balaram, so Balaram's qualities also come in him. Maybe he did not look at you, he did not acknowledge you because he was intoxicated. Maybe he's been drinking honey wine with Radhika. Or is it that he's intoxicated by drinking the Adaramrita, the nectar of Radhika's lips? So Ramanujastula Sika Kula Madanda. Did Krishna walk this way? Bahum Priyanksa Upadaya Grihita Padmo. That means he's got his arm around Radhika. Upadaya means a pillow. And he's using Radhika's shoulder like a pillow. So very lovingly they're walking through the forest. Grihita Padmo. And Krishna is carrying a holding the stem of a very beautiful lotus flower. Tulasikali Kulaya Madanda. And they're being followed by the alikul. Alikul means a swarm of bees. A swarm of honey bees are following Radha and Krishna. And those honey bees, they are madanda. That means they're blind with intoxication. And they are searching for the tulasi. Tulasali kula madanda. This is very confidential meaning. One meaning is that Krishna has his arm around Radhika, sometimes leaning on her, taking a lotus in his hand, and the bees are flying around Radhika, coming sometimes by her face, and Krishna is holding that lotus flower just to shoo them away. So he's doing Radha Seva. So Krishna is one arm around Radhika, and with a lotus flower, get away, shoo shoo. And he's shooing away the bumblebees with his lotus flower. Why is it said that the bees are blind? Because they're chasing after the fragrance of tulsi, but Krishna has no tulsi. His tulsi garland was broken and left in the kunj. So there's no tulsi there, but these blind bees are still following the fragrance of tulsi. Because the confidential secret is that when Radha and Krishna meet together, then from the body of Radhika emanates a fragrance just like tulsi, and this is why tulsi is very dear to Krishna. Because the fragrance of the tulsi manjaris reminds Krishna of the fragrance that emanates from the swarup of Radhika after their loving pastimes. And so the bees who are blind, they can smell tulsi and tulsi is somewhere here. And so they're going, flying after Radhika as she's walking through the forest, and Krishna is shooing them away with the lotus flower, like this. So in this way, the manjaris are talking to the trees and asking them, did you see this scene here? Were you acknowledged by Radha and Krishna with a loving glance as they passed by? When the gopis are searching, they found Krishna's footprints. And after some time, next to Krishna's footprints, what did they see? Anaya radito nunam Bhagavan Hari Ishwaraya no vihaya govinda pritoyam anayadraha. They saw Radhika's footprints were there. So all the Sakis of Radhika were overjoyed. And Chandravali and her Sakis, they thought, they complained, this lusty boy, he's taken this girl alone, leaving all of us. And they criticized. The neutral gopis, they said this verse, Anaya radito nunam. Because Radhika's Sakis were so overjoyed, they could not speak. Chandravali Sakis, they were so upset, they could not speak. The neutral Sakis, actually they didn't say this, sorry. The neutral Sakis, they did not care, because they were neutral. But the Surit Sakis, that means the Sakis who were friendly to Radhika's group, they're the ones who spoke this verse, Anaya radito nunam Bhagavan Hari Ishvara. By this verse, Shukadeva Goswami is beating the kettle drum and glorifying the great fortune of Shrimati Radhika with a dundubi. This verse is the sound of dundubi. Glorifying, Radhika's love is the greatest. So then the gopis, they were following Krishna's footprints and Radhika's footprints. This is also Lokotara Padartha, the divine substance. Don't think they're just looking at footprints like you're looking at some footprints in the snow or on the beach. No, because these are divine footprints. When the gopis see them, it causes the spurti of pastimes. So when they see, look, here there's only the front toes of Krishna are here. Then seeing that footprint, only the front toes, then they realize, Krishna must have been standing on his toes to reach up to pick some flowers to decorate Radhika's hair. And the manjaris saw this pastime in their heart. Beautiful. Then they saw that, Radhika's footprints are together here, and Krishna's footprints are on each side, like that. Then they realized Radhika must have sat down, and Krishna in between Krishna's legs, and Krishna sitting behind and combing her hair and decorating her with flowers. Then they looked and they saw that Radhika's footprints were not there. Only Krishna's footprints were there, but they were very deep. Then they realized, in their heart, they saw the pastime. Krishna said, it's very difficult to walk on this part of the forest. I'll carry you. So Krishna carried Radhika on his shoulder, and so the footprints were deep from the extra weight. So in this way, looking at the footprints of Radha and Krishna, they're relishing in separation the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So then there was one part where Krishna said, the ground is rough here, Radhika, you should step exactly where I'm stepping. So Krishna was walking, and then after Krishna was walking, Radhika was walking behind, keeping her feet exactly in the place where Krishna kept his feet. So then when the Manjaris, they looked, what a beautiful footprint. You know, Krishna has so many signs on his lotus feet. 19 signs on his lotus feet. Radhika also has so many signs on her lotus feet as well. But now they're seeing the footprints. They have all the signs of Krishna's lotus feet and all the signs of Radhika's lotus feet in one footprint. And when they saw that, then they had a spurti of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet has the signs of both Radha and Krishna there. So in this way, Mahaprabhu, he was hearing the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam from Swarup Damodar Goswami, sometimes uttering those verses himself and explaining them. And this is another example of him relishing Manjari Bhav, not Radhika's mood. Sometimes Sakhi's mood and sometimes Manjari's mood. So then, Swarup Damodar Goswami, he said one verse. Thabi yuta sramamupo hitamanga sangha Grishtasraja sakurcha kunkumaranjitaya Gandhava palibi anudruta avisadva Sranto gajibi ibaradi babinna setuhu. This verse comes in chapter 33 of the 10th canto, the last chapter of the Rasa Lila. Because after dancing and playing together, they feel, Krishna and gopis, they feel some fatigue, some perspiration. So it's very nice to cool off by entering into the water of the Jamuna. So Shukadev Goswami is saying, and Swarup Damodar is quoting him, describing this scene. Tabe yuta sramam apohitam anga sangha. In order to take away the fatigue of his beloveds. Then see Krishna, whose garland was crushed and smeared with the kumkum from the bodies of the gopis. He entered into the water of the Jamuna, being followed by a swarm of bumblebees who were just like Gandharvas. You know, in the heavenly planets, sometimes Lord Narayan makes his avatar there, and then Gandharvas come and they sing his glories. But in Vrindavan, when Krishna is entering the Jamuna, there's a swarm of bumblebees, and the bumblebees singing the fifth notes, and this is all the glories of Radha Krishna's pastimes. So if an elephant is going to play in the river, then the bank of the river in Jamuna, you know, it's quite high, like sand, like this. And if an elephant comes, as he's approaching the river, the bank of river breaks and falls in. So in the same way, Krishna is playing like an elephant. Bank means maryada, all rules and regulations. What dharma you should follow in your life, Krishna does not care. He was breaking all dharma, breaking all rules, and entered into the Jamuna like the king of elephants with so many female elephants. The thing about the elephant is, an elephant does what he likes. He's a swachanda. His krida, his play is swachanda. No one can stop him. He can do anything. So Krishna is playing like this, entered into the water with Braj Gopis. At that time, when Swarup Damodar sang this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, Mahaprabhu saw the beautiful full moon in the Sharad season, autumn season, reflecting on the waves of the ocean in Puri. And he saw that the ocean was Jamuna. And seeing this, he ran. Before, he ran at the speed of the mind, but this time, at the wind. But this time, he ran at the speed of the mind. So the devotees didn't even see where he went. And Mahaprabhu ran and just disappeared into the ocean. He became unconscious and he was sinking in the waves and floating up again and sinking in the waves and floating up again. And as you know, in Jagannath Puri, if you go to take bath in the ocean or swim there, then the tide always drags you to the north. And did you have that experience in Jagannath Puri? It's always pulling you towards the north. So Mahaprabhu was unconscious and floating for hours in the ocean, and the tide took him north towards the Konark temple, the temple of the sun god in Konark. All the devotees were searching for him. It was night time. Now it was completely dark. And they took torches and they were looking. Where did he go? Where did he go? Someone said, maybe he's gone to Narendra Sarovar. Maybe he's gone to Chatak Parvat. Maybe he's gone to the Gundicha or Jagannath Batika, the various gardens. They were searching for him everywhere. After looking for a long time, then the devotees decided, oh, he has done his Antardhyan Lila. He has disappeared. And everyone was broken-hearted. Now Mahaprabhu has disappeared, he has gone. But even though they thought he was gone, just out of the madness of love, they could not stop searching for him. So Swarup Damodar with torches, he went east towards the beach, and then he was walking along the beach in the northern direction. And as he was walking along the beach, he saw coming the other way one fisherman. And the fisherman, he was trembling, he was crying, and he kept saying, Hari, 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 Hari. And as Swarup Damodar was approaching, that fisherman said, stop, stop, don't go there, don't go there. Swarup Damodar Goswami said, why? He said, don't go there, there's a bhoot. Pret, there's some ghost. Alas, alas, I was out in the ocean at night and I was fishing. And I thought I've caught a very big fish in my net. So I was carefully pulling it in. And as I was pulling, I saw that it was a corpse. It was a dead body. And I became afraid and I let go. But as I let go, the body touched me. And when it touched me, then the ghost from that body attacked me. And now I'm possessed. I began to tremble. I began to cry. I thought, what will I do? I will go mad. I'll die. Who'll take care of my wife and children when I die? So Damodar Goswami, he realized what had happened. He said, oh, you don't worry. He said, no, I have to go to an Oja. I have to go to an exorcist to remove this ghost, otherwise I will die. I cannot remove him myself. To tell you the truth, at night, to keep the ghost away, I always chant the Shinga mantra. Shina Shinga Jaya Shinga Jaya Jaya Shinga Paladesa Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Bringa. To protect myself. But when I was haunted by this ghost, I tried chanting the Nishinga mantra, but what happened? I felt the ghost attack me with a double force than before. So this ghost is so powerful. Help me, I need to find the Oja. I need to find the Oja. So Damodar Goswami said, don't worry, I am Bada Oja. I am a very famous exorcist. Come here. So then Swarup Damodar Goswami put one hand on his head and he began to chant some mantras, and then he slapped his face 3 times. And he said, now have no fear, the ghost has gone. So then that fisherman, he calmed down. So Damodar said to him, I know what happened. That was not a ghost. That was Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The fisherman said, no, I've seen Mahaprabhu many times, but this person was very, very long. Like 10 meters long. Each joint of his body was separated underneath the skin. So there was the first joint and then a long piece of skin and then the next joint like this. So his whole body, his arms and legs were very long. And he was all wrapped up in himself and white like a conch shell. So Damodar Goswami said, yes, it's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but sometimes due to the ecstasy of love, he manifests these astonishing forms. You should take me to him now. So then the fisherman said, alright, come with me. And he took Swarup Damodar Goswami and the other associates along the beach. And then they saw, lying in the sand, Mahaprabhu with his arms and legs stretched everywhere, completely white, and covered in sand also. So then Govinda, he took off Mahaprabhu's wet cloth and gave him dry coping. And they put one uttariya, one bahivas on the ground and put Mahaprabhu there. And with their own cloth, they were wiping all the sand from his body and washing the sand from his body. So then, Damodar told all the devotees to do kirtan. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Rama loud kirtan from the Antardasha, the inner state. Gradually, Mahaprabhu came to the Bahir Dasha, outer consciousness. He opened his eyes and he stood up and loudly called, Haribo! Where am I? He spoke to Swarna Damodar Goswami. He said, I saw that Radha and Krishna and the Sakhis, they had entered after Rasa Leela into the very cool, refreshing water of Jamuna. They had the maidservants, the dasis of Radhika, they had removed their ornaments, not all, most of their ornaments, and removed their cloths that they were wearing in the Rasa Leela and put on some very fine white cloth for bathing. And then Radhika and her Sakhis entered into the water along with Krishna. Mahaprabhu said, I was standing on the bank. What does that mean? Manji Bhav. That the mantris are standing on that, they're waiting. When Radha Krishna will come out, how they'll dry them, serve them, and decorate them, everything. So Mahaprabhu said, I was waiting on the bank, and other Sakhis were there and said, oh, look at that. And they were pointing out different pastimes. At one point, all the gopis, they surrounded Krishna, and they began splashing him. So much we could not see who was winning and who was losing. So Krishna thought, I am surrounded. So then he dipped under the water and he swam. And he went at some distance away. So then Radhika was looking, where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? And when she saw him, she began to swim towards him. So then, the Sakhis, they thought, let's give some privacy to Radha and Krishna. So there was one cluster of beautiful white lotuses. So the Sakhis, they swam and they entered into that cluster of white lotuses and they stayed in the water only up to their necks. So their faces were like lotuses and the lotuses are like lotuses. It just looked like so many lotuses. You couldn't see the difference between their faces and the lotuses. So then see Krishna, he embraced Radhika and he carried her and took her out into the deep water and then let her go. Then Radhika, oh, save me, save me. So Krishna is always teasing. Very, very tricky person. So then Krishna, then he caught Radhika and then brought her inside again. Radhika was looking out, where are my Sakhis? So then all the Sakhis again joined Radha and Krishna and they began to splash. But Krishna, this time he was not one, he expanded himself. As many gopis are there were that many Krishnas. And one gopi and one Krishna, they were splashing each other. And they got closer and closer together until they were so close they could not splash each other anymore. So then they began to wrestle with each other. So Mahaprabhu said, Jala Jali, Kara Kari, Mukha Mukhi, Rida Ridi, Radha Radi, Naka Naki. That means first they were playing Jala Jali, splashing each other. But then as they got closer, then Kara Kari. That means they were hand to hand. Then Mukha Mukhi, face to face. Rida Ridi, chest to chest. Radha Radi, they were biting each other, teeth to teeth. Naka Naki, nails to nails. And in this way they were playing in the water. Krishna in many forms with Radhika and all the Sakhis. After some time, then of fighting, then see Krishna, he grabbed the very fine white cloth of gopis and he ripped it off and swam away. The water of the Jamuna was crystal clear. So Krishna was very happy to see the beauty of Braj gopis shimmering through the clear water of Jamuna. So then gopis, they decided, alright, now we're going. So they quickly came to the bank and then the manjaris on the bank, they came with a fresh cloth to cover them. And then Mahaprabhu was there in one manjari form. And then they did Taila Seva, Ganda Taila. So the manjaris, they massaged the bodies of Radhika and all the gopis and Krishna also with fragrant oil. And then they did the Amalaki Udbhartan. Do you know Udbhartan? Yeah, no? Do you know apricot scrub? Who uses scrub? So sometimes you can get some soap, it has some small pieces in it, and if you use it, it will make the skin very smooth, right? Remove all the dead skin. This is called udbartan. So the gopis also have udbartan made from amalaki. So then the manjaris were massaging Radha and Krishna and the Sakis with the udbartan made from the amalaki. It has so much vitamin C. So then when they massaged them, then Radha, Krishna and all the Sakis, they took a bath again. They went into the water to wash off. You have to wash off the oil and the udbartan, and then they came out and they were more shiny. And then they were dressed. Brinda Devi, now I am not telling this. Who's telling this? Mahaprabhu is speaking to Swarup Damodar. What happened while he was floating in the waves? Many hours he was floating in the ocean going to Konark. But what was he experiencing inside? He was experiencing this. Now they were all massaged and fragrant and ready to be dressed. But Brinda Devi had arranged Pushpavesh. That means the entire dress of Radha Krishna from head to toe, all made of flowers. Flower skirt, flower anchal, flower choli, and that's called kanchuli in Sanskrit, flower kanchuli. So you can imagine how beautiful Radha and Krishna look now, completely in Pushpavesh. Then other manjaris, they took Radha and Krishna to sit down on a beautiful jewel platform, and they began to bring fruits, mango, banana, pomegranate, dates, different types of almond also, and many different types of fruits from the forest, the berries. And they were all arranged in very colorful, beautiful patterns on plates, and they began to present or give all these presentations before Radha and Krishna. Now earlier in the afternoon, Radharani had made the Amrita Keli and other types of delicious sweets and different types of sweet rice. She prepared that, and the manjaris had kept that, and they bought that also and placed that before Radha and Krishna. And Radha Krishna was so overjoyed to see all these preparations. So then Krishna was taking something, a little bit of every preparation, and then after Krishna had eaten, then Radhika took Krishna's remnants, and the Sakis and Manjaris, they took the remnants of Radha and Krishna. So then, at that time, then Radha and Krishna, they entered into a very beautiful Nikunja Bhavan. The Sakis went to some distance. Then Mahaprabhu describes how the Manjaris went into the Nikunja Bhavan. Some Manjaris were massaging the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. Some Manjaris were fanning with chamaras, and very peacefully and happily Radha Krishna, they went to sleep. Srila Rupa Goswami Pad has described Kunjai Prasuna Kulakalpita Keli Talpe Sanvistayor Madura Nama Vilasa Vajo Loka Trayabaranyastaramang Bujani Samvaha Yistiriti Kadayu Vayo Janoyam. Or when will that day come? When Radha and Krishna are reclining on a beautiful bed of flower petals in the Nikunj. And I will sit at their lotus feet, which are the ornament of the whole universe, of the whole three worlds, and gently massage their lotus feet and overhear them, how they're speaking to each other, very sweet jokes. Very beautiful katha between Radha and Krishna when they're alone. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Radha Krishna then, they went to sleep, and then the Manjaris came out from the Kunj, and they also lay down on the platform outside the Kunj. And then I heard this loud, Hare Krishna, and now I came back here. Why did you bring me here? I was there resting outside the Kunj of Radha and Krishna. So here is another pastime where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is showing us by his own example the type of services that the followers of Rupa Goswami, they aspire to attain. So in this way, we are concluding our discussion of the Gaura Lilamrita. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Pad said, Guru Nana Bhavagan Shishya Prabhu Tanuman Nana Ritehi Sotato nachai. This is a very beautiful sutra explaining the essence of Gaura Lila. You know that Krishna has said, Radhikara prema guru ami sishanat ama sada nana nritye nacha udbhat. The love of Radhika is my guru. It teaches me many novel dances. So similarly, in Gaura Lila, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Pad said that if there's a dancing teacher, did anyone ever have dancing lessons? In classical Indian dance, the teachers are very strict. Or stand like this, right? You stand like this, or no, not like this, be like this, be like this. And they say exactly what to do. And they train you. So here, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami saying, Shishya Prabhu Tanuman, the body of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the mind of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is like a dancing pupil. And Guru Nana Bhavegan and his guru are the various ecstasies of Srimati Radhika. So in Gaura Lila, Gaura is completely helpless. And the ecstasies of Radha Bhav, Nirved, Vishad, Danya, her humility, her jubilation, her patience, her man, her intoxication, her confusion, all the various moods of Radhika, they're like dancing teachers, gurus, and they're teaching the body and the mind of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu what to do, everything. So this is the Gauranga Lila Amrita. Adhyapya se lila, Yadhyapya se lila, Karigor Rai, Kon Kon Bhagavani Deki Bari Pai. That Lila is Amrita, that means it did not pass in history, it's going on today. And those who will hear Gaura Lila from pure Vaishnavas, they can realize it, they can see that Lila today. Especially in Navadvip Dham. So I want to invite everyone, please come on the 22nd to the 28th of February, only 1 week, and visit all the places of the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Navadvip Dham and hear these sweet pastimes in the place. This is very powerful. So whatever is going on in your life, just call up, phone in sick, cancel it. If you don't have money, sell your car. If you don't have a car, sell your mother. Just do anything. But try to go to Navadvip Dham Parikrama. Once at least do this Parikrama in your life. And you make your life successful. Nitaya Gaur Sitanath Premanande